Oh no, what do I got over here? Oh, that's mine. All right, all right. Let me get Facebook up here real quick. Oh, here you go, there on the screen. Hey, everybody. I am Shakeitha, your divine alchemist, and welcome to this integral episode of Alchemy of Wisdom interview with no other than my special guest. I'm not going to give no introduction just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and just get some shares out here real quick here, so that everybody can get on. Let's see here. Yeah, I know I'm not used to doing this from my computer, but anyway, let's see here. I'm going to get a share to some groups. And probably some good friends here. Yeah, we definitely want to share it to our story. For sure, for sure, for sure. She's trying to make me switch my. But if you are on here, we are 2 minutes before we're going to actually get started. Like I said, I'm just kind of getting this shared out here. Go share it to my fam. Hey, Dr. James. And if you all use StreamYard, um, please do log on to StreamYard. I think I forgot to put the link there, but so that you can actually. Okay, I see it. All right. What's up, Dr. James? What's going on? What's going on? Thanks for joining. Okay, we're about to go down here in 1 minute. And hey, and if y'all would, if you can share, that would be great. Appreciate it. I'm not into this whole tagging thing, but I will share it to these different groups though. Got about a couple of seconds and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, all right. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome all. If you're watching live, please let us know in the comments that you are watching live. If you're going to be watching on replay, please, 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 and I'm not begging, but if you would just let us know that you watched it on the replay, that would be greatly appreciated. So I am pretty excited to be doing this actual interview of this person. Been a friend of mine since about 2019. We met around about 2019, and he's just been a phenomenal person. I mean, he's actually like kind of like was the right hand man to part of my journey and and part of my growth as well. And so I am really, really excited to be doing this interview because I tried to get him to do it before and he wasn't quite ready. But when I love when I get those calls like, hey, you know what, I'm ready. So he said he is ready. And so I want to I want y'all to give my good friend my partner, business partner, let me say. A big round of applause. Y'all get those hearts going. He's joining me, and he's going to be um, sharing his book that he wrote. I cannot remember this book. I mean, have been written, revised, the whole 9 yards. He'll get into that. He'll tell you that story. That's his story. Let me not tell it. But no other than the author Nelson of the book Master 69. I'm going to bring him on here in a minute. Here we go. Y'all hope he's ready. I hope he's ready. Here we go. Here we go. What's up, Master?
Shakeitha, hey y'all. Shakeitha has always been like that hype, that hype chick. She will bring the energy all the time, always been encouraging, and I'm just so humbled and everything to to receive all of her support. Like she was saying before, she's we were good friends since 2019, and we have actually have seen a lot of good and a lot of challenges along the way. And I have to say, man, she's a solid. She's solid. She's always been solid. So I really appreciate this, this interview that you're doing with me on my book and everything. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, and I am very appreciative of you to even do this interview because it's been a long time coming. You hear me?
Right. Yeah. Sure has.
I don't know why they so fast, but anyway. So like I said, guys, we're gonna get this interview off the road. I mean, I
Okay.
have a couple questions over here first for you. So answer this question right here. Who is Master 69? Tell
Well,
the people who's Master 69.
okay. Well, actually, let me officially say that my official and government name is George Nelson. I was born in 1966 and pretty much through the civil rights movement. So, I'm pretty much kind of like borderlining on. Now I'm in my mid 50s. I'm not going to say what my real number is, but if you can kind of put two and two together. But so I've been around for, I've been around for a minute. I've seen a lot of people come and go, but you know, you know, the I love to write, and I'm just going to keep it 100. I love to write, and even since I was a little, you know, little child or whatever, I always had excellent writing skills, and that was my best form of communication. And I wasn't too much into the verbal part. Yeah, I can speak a little bit, but you know, um, my biggest strength in communication always has been writing. So I've always done reports. I've always done um, books that are had to do with my personal life. I basically started off with like personal journaling and stuff like that, so and it's very therapeutic. Writing is very therapeutic to me. So to go back to what Shakeitha's question was, who is Master 69? Well, that is actually my alter ego, and my alter ego had actually came in after a point of no return for me. Basically, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've been the good guy, I've been the bad guy, and I've been transformed into something much greater. So Master 69 is actually, a derivative of my alter ego, my life experience that I bring to the table in my book. My book is based on 50% of my real life and events that have gone on in my real life, and at the same time it's 50% fictional. So for those who actually know me, they know the parts that are real, and they know the part that are the other half. So but Master 69 is basically it started from my alter ego, but it's actually an extension to people who are in partnerships and relationships. And because 69 itself is actually a symbol that symbolizes, you know, um, the ultimate intimacy, forever giving to your partner. And so to master that is to actually master the relationships and partnerships that you actually have been in that have helped them get to the point of just a healthy platform, a healthy and peaceful platform. So I'm just gracious, to have the opportunity to share. I'm just like every, pretty much every next door neighbor, very simple guy. I just love to write. And I believe this is my time in my series to actually launch and tell people about my book and what I do and what it's all for.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let me ask you, so why is Master 69 the book important? Why is that?
Well, it's Master 69, the book is important because, it helps to turn good guys, it turns good guys into bad guys and transform bad guys into something far greater than himself. And what that actually is doing, and what that actually does, there's a three-stage fold, because in every one's life, you're not the same person that you were when you were, I'm going to say, 10 years old. You're not the same person when you're 20. You're not the
Right.
same person in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. We all go through different stages of life. And just like we make mistakes early in our life, at some point of wisdom, further in our life, we're not that same person again. We can reflect back and say, man, I remember when I did
Right.
that wasn't so smart, or that was, or whatever. But now that I know better, I do better.
Absolutely.
So it's, Match 69. The reason why it's so important, because it's a transformation of life. Where no one's perfect. Everybody have their own thing that they do, but it's a transformation of life, and it pinpoints, the good guy, the guy who, you know um has going to college, or consider himself to have a good job, a good career, then get married, then have the wife with the picket fence and the dog, and and to have that foundation of security around him. That's considered to be the good guy, the guy that holds up the law no matter what he does, and he has to
Right.
always look good. I've been there, done that, been down that road. I've done that. And the bad guy is basically the guy that goes against the law.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell him what to do. It's all about him, and I've been down that road too. So, and I understand the power, the power, the empowerment that you feel when you are in those boxes. When you're in those boxes, there's a certain empowerment that you feel for whatever battle for whatever battle that you're fighting. So and it actually holds us accountable to certain things. So now for me, in the book, for me, my life after my period of being a good guy, I was married early. I was married at 21. Was in a marriage for 19 years. We raised three beautiful children, and after 19 years I ended up getting divorced, and that had broke me. It literally brought me to the point where I almost committed suicide twice.
Mm.
And I didn't know how to deal with myself after all of that, because for all those years I gave myself and my life to my wife at the time and my children. So when all of that had came to an end, I was like, what am I here for? I was like a fish out of water. So I had to go through this transformation, and I did. And I have to say, I was pissed off. I was not only pissed off at myself, I was pissed off at the world. I was pissed off at God. I was just like, screw it.
Yeah.
So I found myself getting into the dark side of things, which
Mm. Okay.
actually had taught me a lot. And I became in the world of BDSM, and I realized, which is BDSM, for those of you who are not familiar, is talks about bondage, dominance, and sadomasochism. And basically what that does is It's not based on anything that has to do with the vanilla life. It has to do with the dark side of things, the dark side of your life. And there's certain laws and commitments and stuff um, that has to be abide by between you and your partner. So in my book, I share those things. Uh, I share those things and those experiences in my book, and it can be pretty graphic, but at the same time, it's the truth. And it's these it was these points in my life, as being a dominant, and my dominant name was Master 69. So, but my submissives that I had five of them, and so there's a certain character, flow, and loyalty that falls in line with something like that. And for me, I've always been a leader, but I found that when I was in, um, um, I want to say, you know, when I was in my bondage, okay, when I was in my bondage, I was actually looking for things that would help me be empowered.
Mm,
And for me to be empowered, I had to be in control. But now being in control in the BDSM world is a level of responsibility. It's not about beating anybody up. It's not about uh, beating anyone down. It's about
right.
controlling and being responsible of somebody else's life. And
Mm.
and so that was um, a very deep experience for me that I'm sharing and being transparent in this book about.
And we definitely appreciate that transparency. So let me ask you a question. This is this one that and you may have answered this, but I'm going to ask the question because I have it down. Can you share the inspiration behind the title Master 69 and what it signifies in your journey?
Well, Master 69 is all about intimacy. It's all based on the power of intimacy and the commitment and love that partners should have all together. And Master 69 intertwines the two, from the male perspective and also from the female perspective. And so, universally speaking, it's a universal truth. And as long as you and your partner, are intimately giving to one another, then it all ties together. It all ties together that way. Mhm.
Okay, so I can I certainly understand, and I know that we have talked
Yeah.
about going back to that BDM, and because I didn't even understand what that was,
Mhm.
and you shared that with me.
It's BDSM.
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 Excuse me. Correct me. BDSM.
It's so
You
good.
got you see now. You know I don't know. See, that's
Yeah,
why I messed it up,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, it's a huge. There's huge demographics and huge markets with it. I mean, we can go over so many different areas of it, but just to keep things simple, there's a major market for it. I mean, we already know that there's movies and books and stuff that's based on that stuff, but the stuff that's been out there that's actually uh that's on the mainstream and that's generating multi millions in that genre is vanilla.
Mm,
And like coming from BDSM, we look at things like things in the mainstream as being vanilla. It's not as hardcore, right? So yeah,
so
that's
before I go into this next question, I just want to just recognize our audience out there. I want to thank Sean, Dr. James for joining in, Margaret for joining in. We really appreciate your taking the time, and we just gonna thank everybody who's gonna watch this on the replay as well.
thank you.
And I just lost my screen. Hold on. So let me get into this next question. So how did your personal experience shape the themes explored in the book?
Um, Well, that's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. And what I've tried to do was just to try to keep it as authentic as possible, and at the same time, as you know, as direct as possible, but not trying to put everything in all at one time. So to overwhelm people, because for me, this all came as a slow burner.
Mm.
This all came as a slow burner, and I actually wrote this. Um, the majority of my book was actually written while I was in jail, um, and it took me 4.5 to 5 years while I was in jail, because I had to sit down and I had to think it through, and so um part of my journey, part of my 10-year journey as being a master, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of life lessons that I had to learn.
Right.
So um and it actually turned out that I've actually had to um I had to complete it, edit it, and I had to reformat it again, and again. It must have been on the shelf. I don't know, Shakeitha. It must have been on the shelf maybe about 3, 4 times since I've known you since
Yeah, I,
2002.
I remember because I'm like, okay, I'm talking
Yeah,
to you. Oh, I'm revising my
yeah,
book again.
yeah,
I'm like, go
yeah,
read this right here, but I'm
yeah.
revising. Okay, so yeah,
And it had to go that way because it had to actually, I would say, marinate. It had to actually marinate, and it had to make sense. And
right,
I knew when I was in jail, when I started it, I only had the bullet points. I did about 7 chapters, and I had about 3 more to go, but it really all had to make sense. And um the some people may question, well, why was you in jail? Well, that is also in the book. And so, but the reason why I was because there were things that I was doing in a dark space that I actually had a submissive who had had got me caught up in the system. And so the book will explain everything about it, but it was a learning lesson of the bondage that I was going through. I had to clean up, and I wasn't going to get it cleaned up until somebody actually called me out on it. So yeah, that's
okay.
yeah.
All right. So in Master 69,
Mhm.
what message or insight do you hope readers will take away?
Well, one thing that I've learned, and that's very important in this process, is never take your partnership for granted. Um, I have experienced and seen a lot of partners. What we do is we get into these relationships where we feel we there are some relationships that we go into and we give our all 100%, and there's some that we don't. And the ones that we really feel put ourselves over, I'm going to say overcommit ourselves in a relationship, and actually feel like we're doing more than our partner. It actually gets to a point of taking advantage of your other partner, whether if you realize it or not. um and it really derives from when we really know a person. If you think about it, and I'm sure Shakeitha can kind of share this with me. If you've been with a partner for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you know this partner in and out. It gets to a point where your partner doesn't really respect when you say certain things. Oh, it's almost like it goes over their head when you're telling them something,
Absolutely.
and it kind of falls into just taking your partner for granted, because hey, I know him, I know him, or I know her, you
Yeah.
know, and they're not going to change, and that's not necessarily so.
Right.
So, the biggest thing that I, can say about this whole process that, this book and this series is actually worked on with me is it, it actually taught me how not to ever take my partnership for granted. That's however, that relates to anyone else. Just never
Mhm.
take your partnership for granted.
Absolutely. So, can you discuss the creative process behind crafting the characters in your book?
That's a challenge. That's always a challenge. I tell you, because sometimes I think back and I go, man, how do I create this character? I've never been this person, and it's I have to say it's a real challenge. It's not as easy as people think. Now it's easy to be yourself, and even with being yourself, we get writer's block and stuff like that. But when you're creating other characters that are, I'm going to say for myself, female persuasion, and they have to have a certain um, direction to take the book, you know, all I can say is that's a challenge. I don't
Yeah.
know how other writers do it. I don't know how other writers do it. All I know is that the, in order for me to, be able to visualize, that character, I have to take it's almost like a leave of absence
Hmm.
within myself,
Right. Right.
and that's something that it's not a hit or miss. You just have to feel it along the way with what you're writing, because
Right.
there's a number of characters in there. There are doctors, there's females, there's bosses, there's and everyone, and I'm like, how do you write for each and every one? And all I know is that I'm going to always stay true to my character, and the ones that are supportive actors, I
Mhm.
would have to say I just take my time.
Right. Right. And that's funny that you spoke about the challenges and so that you faced during writing this. So how did you overcome that though? So how did you overcome
That's another good question.
it?
Um, how do you overcome that? I would have to say that it would have to come from up above. It has to be a God thing, because me, myself, and I couldn't come up with the characters that I do just like that, and for them to be real and to fall in line. It's more of a very intimate God thing. I have to hear my higher power talk to me.
I know that's right because you always tell me, I just
Yeah.
got a drop, but okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying. Hey, it's not.
Yeah, you would always say, "I see, I just got to see you drop them." Yeah, okay, but I get that part. So,
It's a God thing for
okay,
me. Yeah.
so so how do you see your book contributing to conversations around personal growth and transformation?
Well, my book is basically based on going from coming from bondage to redemption, and every person we have a lineage of something that we're going through that we can be redeemed from.
Right, I agree.
And so that is the ultimate um that's the ultimate goal, for um Master 69, the book. It's a book from bondage, and how it shows the process of coming from bondage and reaching to a level of redemption. And that's basically it.
All right, so and we're about to wrap up here. We're
Yeah,
about
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. So,
are there specific elements in Master 69 that reflects your own philosophy or belief system?
well, yes. I mean, it has my personal, it has my personal signature on it, and I try to keep that a little bit, just a little secretive,
Yeah,
because it's in the book, and
I
that's
feel it. Yeah,
that's
I guess you just got to get the book to read. I guess you got to get the book to find out, right? You gotta get look. Y'all gotta get the book to find out, right? Look, can't spill all the beans, can't spill all the Kool Aid or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Look, empty your cup,
yeah,
be filled, right? But
yeah,
anyway,
right. That's what the book is for.
so
But
I got about, let's see, we got about maybe 4 questions, then we'll get into your final words, okay? Um, so can you share a memorable moment or realization that occurred while writing this book?
um, okay, yes, I can. Um, uh, when I lost my kids, um, one of my daughters, and she was very upset with me, um, and she blamed everything on me. And so there's a moment actually in the book where she smacks me, you know,
Mm,
and so that is a very endearment kind of that was a very endearing moment for me, because she almost made me come to tears. So yeah, there's a couple of moments. There's actually a couple of moments like that. But what I actually had to come to a realization was that no matter what my circumstances were, I had to actually I had to own up to it, and I had to move forward. And so yes, the moment was actually when my daughter had actually um, was very upset with me, and she smacked me. And that was something that you know had means something to me and still does today.
okay. I feel that. I feel that. Yeah. So thank you for your vulnerability on that one. So how do you balance the fine line between entertainment and delivering deeper messages in your storytelling?
Just staying true to who I am, and just trying and just remain, just try to listen to the direction that I'm receiving from up above. It's not a right or wrong kind of thing. You have to feel it along the way, and you have to hear the voice, and you just have to pay attention. You
Right.
know, a lot of times I've actually have gone through my book and realized that I wasn't paying attention the way that I should have.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just about listening.
Okay. So um, as an author,
Hmm.
how do you hope your work resonates with readers on a spiritual or emotional level?
Well, I can only speak for myself. I've come to realize that people experiences, cultures, and stuff. Everyone is different. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just a matter of where you get your groove from. So I just try to keep it 100. And as far as my spiritual journey, is based on Jesus Christ. And but everyone's that's not everyone's position. Everyone don't come from that. Everybody does. So my whole thing is, as a man of God of where I am, I can only stand firm with what I believe and what I know. So what can I actually share with you know uh my fans and followers as far as the book is concerned. Basically, just keep it 100. Just do the right thing and never take your partner for granted. Whether if it's spiritual, emotional, or whatever it is, just never take your partner for granted.
You're
And
right.
that for a lot of people can be harder, easier said than done. Because we have and we are very uh, emotional creatures, and a lot of things that we have going on, sometimes we don't realize we are doing we are trying to get things done so that we'll receive something.
Mhm.
We always have some kind of motive for something.
Right.
So instead of really listening to what your partner is really trying to tell you, you know we sometimes we just need to fall back and do that. Just fall back and listen. Am I really listening? I just came out of um a situation where I was trying to explain to someone that they weren't listening. And if it wasn't for me making my final decision and moving on, they would have just kept on doing the same thing over and over and over. You have to take a stand for what you believe.
Right.
You do. So as far as anyone, if you're a man of God, a woman of God, if you believe in a higher power or whatever, whatever your universal truth is for you and your family, just never take your partner for granted. That's the bottom line for anything with me.
Yes.
Matthew 69.
So I just want to thank Sissy for joining us here. Thank you for your comment.
Hey,
Uh,
Cece.
says guided by spirit.
Mhm.
She says sharing your experience will help others. And thank you for sharing, and we appreciate that as well. And so, what is your final word you want your readers to know, and where can your fans find Master 69, the book?
Well, it is now worldwide in 39,000 different distributors. It actually has surprised me a little bit. It's in Germany, it's in Russia, it's in India, and so my thing is, it's being sold everywhere. Master 69, the book. You can pull it up internationally, and as far as finding it, you know, it's just a matter of plugging in. You can actually plug into Barnes and Noble. You can plug into Amazon. It really doesn't matter. Master 69, the book, um, is actually it's out and it's all over.
Okay. So and what if you can from your side put in the comments, how people can find you
Sure,
on
sure,
all platforms, um,
sure.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform you're on, where everybody can, where they can find you. And also, I'm sure that'll be a way that they can actually, if you can drop a link to, I guess, one of your favorite places to buy the book. I know I just bought the book from Barnes and Nobles, but anyway, look, I want a physical copy. And so
Right.
I also want to say, is there a way that uh, anyone can get like an autograph copy of the book? Um, if they wanted one, how can they also, if there's a way that they
Well,
can reach out to you through the message or something like that?
thank you for asking about that. But since this is your platform, Shakeitha, whoever follows you and that's interested, you can just plug them directly into me, and I will make that arrangement for them to get an autograph copy. My whole thing is this: Master 69, the book, is actually the first series. So the birthday of my month is actually in the summer. It's August 12th of every August 12th of every year, and that's when I launched my new book. And so this is just the beginning of 69 actual series that's going to be coming out. It's going to be one new book every year. So
All right.
So if anyone is following, and if anybody want to know further about it, they can just go to Master 69 master69bookclub.com, and you can get a snippet as you know what is there, and they can join the club, and that's basically it.
All right, all right. Well, this concludes this magical episode of the podcast. A heartfelt thank you to Nelson. Nelson, I'm calling him Nelson, y'all.
She was
Y'all,
called me Nelson. Nelson. It's George
Nelson.
Nelson, but you know
Anyway,
that's my
that's what
Facebook. She used, she
I
used to
call
see
him
in
Nelson.
my Facebook.
Well, that's how y'all gonna find him. If I tell y'all George Nelson, y'all ain't gonna find him. But anyway,
Yeah.
so anyway, for sharing, we want to thank you for sharing your wisdom and insight from Master 69 and shedding light on the journey within the small business network. If you found inspiration in our conversation, don't forget to like, share, and I will say subscribe. I mean, I'm sure he got a subscription on subscribe on
Yeah.
was it Instagram,
Yeah.
because we got that option on Instagram, and maybe on his book club as well at the site. But until next time, this is Shakeitha, your inspired alchemist,
Okay.
signing off. And remember, the magic continues in your own journey. Stay inspired, stay empowered. Have a beautiful day.
My pleasure to meet everyone. Take care. Bye bye.